Mongrel Mob member Syd Te Rata pleaded guilty in the Lower Hutt District Court for wearing his gang patch in public, which is now prohibited under the recently enacted Gangs Act 2024. The law aims to limit gang visibility and reduce intimidation by banning the display of insignia in public spaces. Despite the offense, the judge granted him a discharge without conviction, after hearing that he was wearing the patch during a period of mourning and funeral for a close family member. However, the mob member now wants the court to return the patch as it is more than just clothing. To members of the Mongrel Mob, a patch is a symbol of brotherhood, status, rank and personal history. It carries deep emotional and cultural significance within gang communities and often represents years of loyalty or personal sacrifice. For many, it is part of their identity. Under the Gangs Act, once a person pleads guilty or is convicted, their gang insignia is automatically forfeited to the Crown. The law states that it can either be destroyed or otherwise disposed of, a phrase that has become the center of legal debate. Syd's lawyer argues that the phrase gives judges discretion to return the patch in certain circumstances. The court has wide and unfettered discretion, he told the court. There's nothing in the legislation that explicitly prevents the patch from being returned. However, the police prosecutor disagreed. She argued that returning the patch would contradict the intent of the law, which is to curb gang influence and reduce their presence in communities. She maintained that otherwise disposed of should not include returning items to convicted individuals, as doing so would undermine the purpose of the act. Legal experts say the issue isn't so clear. If the law wanted to explicitly prevent the return of gang insignia, it could have included that language in the legislation. Instead, it left the final decision up to judges on a case-by-case basis. Syd's lawyer says this was a one-time request in judgment, not a deliberate challenge to the law. He urged the court to take a compassionate approach given the circumstances and consider returning the patch as a one-off exception. A similar case involving another gang member is currently before the Palmerston North District Court, where the decision is also pending. Because district courts don't set binding legal precedents, these cases may eventually make their way to the High Court. If that happens, the outcome could provide much-needed clarity on how courts interpret the otherwise disposed of clause, and whether gang members can ever reclaim their patches after minor breaches of the law. For now, the decision remains with the individual judges, and all eyes will be on how they choose to interpret this new and controversial legislation. The outcome of this case, and others like it, may ultimately shape how the Gangs Act 2024 is interpreted and applied going forward. Whether compassion can coexist with legislative intent will be at the heart of future rulings, and the answers may set the tone for how gang-related laws are enforced across New Zealand.